My journey into plants started when I was younger. My dad had a lot of plants in the house. When we would go to different neighbor functions, he would ask for cuttings. And so I thought it was weird at the time, but it wasn't. I guess a lot of people do that. And them just being in the house, it really connected to me. I had an aunt, and my Aunt Barbara, and she loves plants. She used to talk to them, and she said they would talk back to her, and I said, wow, I didn't know. And then after that, I just had my first place, and I decorated it with plants because that was what I believed decor was. And so from there, I just started having more and more and more until I had 2 houseboats filled with houseplants. I actually wanted to have a bed and breakfast, but in a different medium. So instead of it being on land, it was just going to be on water because I always loved houseboats. I moved down here like in 2015 to the Hampton Roads area, and my grandparents they lived in Chesapeake. They loved Chesapeake. My grandfather, he was in the Navy. He worked right over there on the ships. And so for me, my grandmother, she went on dialysis in late 2015, and then she died at home in like August of 2016. And then from there, I bought the smaller houseboat as an homage to her, to her memory. And I loved it because people would come on here and they would be like, I love being on the Lois Lane. And it was a way of even though I didn't physically have her anymore, people were able to experience her. With the plant styling, I started with kind of exploring different plant shops around the country. I travel with my full-time job, so I would go in and I would look at places and I'd be like, man, this is so cool. I love plants, but I don't want to own a plant store. I would rather, put them in people's homes and be able to check on them, and in addition to that, also buy them and style them. And so it started with that exploration, and then from there, it was a little more than a year ago, I just had friends that would want me to style different things, and then I was able to get more residential and commercial clients. So when you're styling a lot of spaces, you definitely can get into a lot of repetition of what works and what doesn't work. But during this time, I've been able to spread my creativity more than what I had before. And so, even though this has been a tough time, I have enjoyed having the solitude to kind of dive into what my passion is without having, I don't want to say restrictions, but having what the client wants in mind. Plants for me, they really mean family. They're always connected to these memories, of family and different times that we share, and also just the love that we have between one another. I don't know, it always brings up a memory of connectedness for me. For the boats, what I loved about having them and about having people on them was the experience. My grandparents lived in this area, and they were huge lights in my life. And I came back and I lived with them when my job transferred me down here almost 5 years ago now. And these boats kind of represent them and their memory, and I wanted to provide people, what I kind of had when I was growing up with my childhood, sitting together, eating, all of those family style things. And so with the plant styling, it's more about sustainability and the environment. And even though flowers are beautiful, there's an alternative to them, and we can use plants with your event, then we can take them and use them in the next event. you know, it lives on. So